Trustees ratification public meeting in our regular meeting for Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. We'll start off by opening up with our ratification public meeting. Dr. Brown.
Yes, I am going to read the agreement between MTA and the board. So create a tiered mentor ECA system as follows: a mentor leader for 1,000, mentor level 1, mentoring a teacher with over 5 years of experience, but new to the corporation, $250. Mentor level 2, mentoring a teacher with less than 5 years and new to the corporation for a $500 stipend. And mentor level 3, mentoring a teacher going through Bloom Board or a transition to teaching program for a stipend of $750. Also creating dramatics evening programs for the junior high. 6th grade, 2 positions for $100. 7th grade, 2 positions for $100. 8th grade, 2 positions for $100. Adding elementary unified sports, 2 positions at $518. Removing the high ability coordinator from the scale because it's going to be paid through a grant. Adding the EL coordinator, 1 position for $650. Adding a high school assistant swim coach for the boys and girls team, adding $2,304 to their entire pool for $4,832 is the total for their assistants. Dual credit, $518 per person, not per class. Compensation, which is in Appendix A, we're addressing compression for years 1 through 20 as presented by our administration with an average increase to the base of 3.3%. And you can see the attached compression plan. Teachers with 21 plus years will get the average increase of $1,811 added to their base, which is the average of all the increases. And you can see that attached in the compression plan. Additionally, all teachers will receive a $1,500 stipend on top of those base increases. We're adding language to put deadlines into lane change notifications. So the first deadline is the first teacher day in August, and the second deadline is the first teacher day in January for them to change lanes. Updating Appendix A1 with the following note at the bottom. A1 is used in instances where there are no teachers already employed with comparable experience in education. Sick day donation, adding language to allow unused sick days to be donated to the sick bank upon retirement. Insurance, Appendix B, insurance premium holiday language will be added that explains how a premium holiday will be implemented in the event the school corporation's health insurance provider declares an insurance premium holiday. In addition, the school corporation has picked up the 2% premium increase in their health care costs. So asking the board to approve those changes.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Brown. Is there any public comment on the master teacher contract? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the vote. Entertain a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement with the Madison Teachers Association.
Make a motion, we approve 24-103.
With a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, at this point in time, we will adjourn the ratification public meeting and call to order our regular meeting. Before we start, I'd like to have a moment of silence in memory of former MCS board member Deborah Dorton, who recently passed away. Thank you. I ask each of you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we have a couple of special recognitions tonight. The first one will be a CETL certification, which is a Certified Education Technology Leader. And if I have a representative from CETL here, could you step forward? Okay.
I'm a little shorter, so. Hi, my name is Cassie Gobin. I'm a board member at the Indiana CTO Council, which is the Indiana wing or branch of the national organization called COSIN, which is a consortium for school networking. And COSIN's purpose and our purpose in Indiana here is really to support chief technology officers, directors of technology. And one of the ways that we've been doing that as an Indiana board is supporting and providing professional development, learning to our Indiana tech directors and CTOs. And one way we're acknowledging that and able to recognize them is through them taking the CETL examination and passing it. And we like to come and talk a little bit about what that looks like. I'll pass it off to Nick for him to develop that a little bit more. But we are super proud to honor Josh today with this certification.
Thank you for your time tonight. The CETL certification has only been earned by a few tech directors in the state, and I'm an education technology director in Columbus, Indiana, also working with the board and state organization. And we just come from a lot of backgrounds. So I was a science teacher 10 years ago, and Josh has different backgrounds than me, and so does Cassie. And education technology is just a little different from everything else. So this organization kind of helps ensure that we have qualified leaders in these spots, and Josh has exemplified that. He has dedicated himself. He has many more years experience than I do, but has continued to learn and grow as an individual, and we're proud to announce that he has earned his CETL certification. I believe it's the first in Madison, so help me congratulate him. And of course, you know, we're technology directors, but we're giving out paperweights for awards. He does get a certification, but congratulations. Thank you for having us.
Now, the highlight of anybody ever getting an award here with the school board is having their picture taken with them. Yes. We want you guys to get the pictures. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll just stay up here, yeah. Now if I could have Jacob Vey, our school safety director, to step to the podium, please.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity. This is very exciting for me as the Director of Safety, but it wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the school board and Dr. Brown. You've showed that you put safety as a priority and we're able to put the best practices in place for safety. Starting last year, we were able to have an SRO in every building. This year, we amped that up and are covering extracurricular activities. And just wherever our kids and students and their families are, we want to be present and be there for them. So I'm going to read a little bit about an incident that recently occurred with Travis Conover, one of our school resource officers. This is the call for service log that's from our central dispatch that happened that day. So kind of setting it up, it was October 10th. Travis Conover was working in extracurricular event for us that particular day. Our soccer sectionals. It was approximately 4:10 p.m. and Special Deputy and School Resource Officer Travis Conover went on duty to work soccer sectionals at Madison Consolidated High School. At approximately 4:23 p.m., dispatch put a call out to the Madison Police Department to a call on Clifty Drive near the high school. They advised that a male subject was down in the construction area and CPR was in progress. Officer Conover wasn't sent to that call. It was MPD. However, he had his radio on. He had all the necessary equipment. He knew he was close to the scene, and he didn't hesitate when duty called. He immediately went en route and arrived approximately 1 minute later. Knowing he was that close, he thought he'd be the first officer on duty, and he was on scene. He exited his patrol vehicle and got his school-issued AED and immediately took action. At the time, construction workers were performing CPR as Officer Conover set up his AED. MPD then arrived and took over CPR with the fire department. Good Samaritan, a nurse within KDH, arrived a short time later and also assisted. After Officer Conover had his AED hooked up, it actually delivered a shock at approximately 4:28 to the male subject, and we'll just relate to him as male subject as respect for him and his family. This regained a slight pulse for approximately 15 seconds before it faded away. A second shock was then given, the pulse was reestablished, and they were able to load the subject in the ambulance to receive further medical assistance. We followed up approximately 2 weeks later. The male subject at that time was back with his family recovering. We followed up again this week, and he's actually back at work. So just knowing whenever you put on the uniform and the badge, and you never know what that next call may be, and just knowing, hey, when the time comes, are you there ready to respond? Travis, he'll say it's just part of his duty, part of his job, but he's answered the call for us time and time again. So I can't be thankful enough for having him on our team, and just showing once again, not only have you gave us a full team of safety officers and SROs, but given us the equipment that we need, such as a school-issued AED at all times. So that's how we were able to put that into use and to save a life. So just can't thank you and you all enough. Thank you. And real quick, Sheriff Flint was going to be here tonight. The award he has won't be in until next week, so he'll be getting a life-saving award at that time, and tonight he's getting a Making a Difference award.
Yes. Good job.
Okay, I'd like to ask our Deputy Elementary School Principal, Miss Kathy Stoner, to step to the podium, please. Welcome. I wouldn't be with her.
Thank you for asking us to come tonight to speak about our school deputy elementary. I brought several of my staff members with me today because, as you know, we can't do what we do on a daily basis without a team of dedicated professionals. It takes all of us to be able to do what we do, so I appreciate them coming with me tonight. Yes. Oh, sit back down. This summer, when I was getting ready for a new school year, I knew I wanted to do something positive to start the new school year so that the students, or the teachers, sorry, would have less stress, have a positive outlook, and maybe have a focal point. And so I decided we needed to come up with a mantra. And so the mantra we came up with is upward and together. I chose upward because that's what we're always trying to do as educators. We're always trying to move upward, looking for growth. That's what we're doing as a district right now, as we're aligning our arrows to try to make education for all of our students equitable across the board. So upward just means that we're advancing. I also chose together because I wanted the teachers to remember that they were in this together, that even though there would be times of stress or uncertainty, that we were all there together, especially with our professional learning communities, that they would have a community of educators that would be there helping them along. So when we have our staff meetings or we have presentations, I always include our mantra, upward and together. The teachers like to add "and chocolate," so we often say upward and together with chocolate because we all know that chocolate makes everything better. So I wanted to talk about a few things tonight that's kind of unique to our school, and one of those things is our basketball league and our cheer program. Our basketball league and our cheer program is ran completely by our parents. It's available to our parents because, you know, we are some distance away from town, and so it's nice when they come home from work that they have a close place to take their students to play basketball or to participate. We have 22 cheerleaders that are in our program, ranging from PK to 5th grades. We have 71 basketball players and 16 coaches. Our league started on November 1st, and it will run every Friday night until December 13th. As I stated, our basketball program is ran completely by our parents with numerous volunteers. I need to give a shout out to Ashley Schutte for Parent Square. She's worked really hard to get that pushed out on our corporation. And this is one of the ways we can make sure that our basketball program runs smoothly. I asked the basketball president what volunteers that she needed to run the program each Friday night. I created that on Parent Square and we shared it out. And every week we have those volunteer positions filled by our parents. In addition to our basketball league, we also have a t-ball program and a softball league in the summertime. It again is ran by our parents with their t-ball and softball board, with parents and volunteers or from the community who are part of that board. Depending on the summer, we have anywhere between 150 to 200 kids that participate in that program and up to 20 volunteers. And this is a picture of our our baseball field that's just up past our basketball gym. Another thing that I was excited to talk about today was our club days, and I'm going to have our STEM coach, Jennifer Cohen, come and talk about that.
Good evening. Last year, Deputy decided to introduce club days. And the idea behind club days is to carve out some intentional time during the school day to allow students to experience different STEM fields or fine art types of fields in the form of a club. Last year, we kind of set it up in a station rotation model, and we decided to do some improvements with that this year. And the students had choice in which club interests were most personal to them. So they each filled out, kindergarten through 4th grade, each student filled out a form and selected their top 3 choices. And then we placed them into groups, again, K through 4 mixed groups with a staff member who was also interested in that club. So again, it's kind of carved out during the school day. We plan on having 4 of these throughout the school year, and students can switch clubs each time if they choose. But it was a big hit. The students were very excited that they got to choose what was important to them. We had the baking club was a huge hit. They actually were able to make enough treats to serve to the entire school population the next day, so there was a lot of pride there. And then, of course, listed, there was a really good variety, and I think every student left with a lot of excitement, and there was a lot of enthusiasm from the staff, too, because they were able to really put into their personal interest into the kiddos. So, thank you.
To add on a little bit about what Jacob said about having SROs in our building, I think that's a fabulous thing. This picture was taken by a parent of mine in the car rider line. She took it the morning after there was another school shooting in another state. And she stated that she was so glad that we had Officer Shainstein there because she felt comfortable with leaving her student that day. And as you can see, numerous parents also talked about how much it means that he's there and they feel comfortable with their students and their safety. He's not only there, though, for the safety, he's also there for the mentorship. He has really developed strong relationships with our kids. It's been really neat to see. We even have some little kids that, sometimes in the morning they don't really want to leave their mom and dads. But if Officer Shainstein goes to the car, they'll get out for him because, I guess he's way cooler than some of us are. I also wanted to talk a little bit about our celebration of learning. Several years ago, we stopped having awards day at the end of the year, and we decided to have awards day 4 times a year. One of the reasons why we do that is because that gives the students multiple times to earn an award. So if they don't get an award they want first 9 weeks, they have 3 other 9 weeks to try to earn that. So with the help of our Deputy Fire and Rescue, they have provided us money so that we could give the students brag tags. So as you can see in the picture, all the students have a necklace, and on the necklace are the tags that they have earned either for academics, for attendance, or maybe for a club that they have joined. All the students have at least 2 tags. They'll have a birthday tag, or they'll have a tag that indicates what house or what team they are on in Deputy, and I have a teacher that's going to talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So they hang displayed in the classroom so they can proudly see of all the work they've done that year. And then on Wednesdays, they get to wear their brag tags during the school day. Throughout the presentation today, you're going to see some examples of those brag tags and when the students can earn those. Megan McVeigh, who is our 1st and 2nd grade math teacher, is going to talk a little bit about our garden club.
Good evening, board. Thank you so much for having us. Our garden club started last spring, and we had 18 students between pre-K and 4 sign up, and so it was a great turnout for the beginning. Our plants were donated by the MCS Ag Department, and during their recess time, the students gave up that time to go out and clean out the beds and get the beds prepared in order to get the seeds planted. And I've never seen kids so eager to pull weeds. It was great. We ended up, after that, creating a summer sign-up sheet through Parent Square. And I kid you not, it was so great to see the turnout. We've had great success because every day that we asked for a family to show up, they did. They showed up, and we provided, Mrs. Stoner and myself provided them with a checklist of all the things that they needed to do. And none of our supplies, we left it outside. Our supplies was always there. And if they needed something, they would reach out and we would replenish it. So that was really great to see. Upon returning to school, our plants started making produce. So then during their recess time, students went out and they harvested what we had grown. And those kids were so excited to go out and pick tomatoes or pick cucumbers or watermelons. And what was even better was that they were able then to provide that to their fellow classmates during our lunches. So our goal again for this year is to reach out, maybe even make some more raised beds so we can even increase more of our plants that we plan to produce for the next season and invite more kids to come. So thanks again for having us.
I also want to take a few minutes to kind of give a shout out to my staff and our iLearn scores. You can see 2 graphs on the board. The one on the left is from 2023. The one on the right is from 2024, and we are that red dot. And that red dot shows how we do compared to other schools with similar demographics of Deputy Elementary. You can see from 2023 to 2024, our dot moved up, so we increased in our scores. We were 1st percentile in math. We were in the 4th percentile for ELA. Now, those were the scores when you compare us to schools that are similar to us. So how do we look when you compare us to all the schools in the state of Indiana? And when compared to all the schools in the state of Indiana, we were in the top 2% for math, the top 12% for ELA, and for students passing math and ELA, we were in the top 6%. That made us the top performing elementary school in Jefferson County, and we're ranked in the top 40th in the state of Indiana. That brings us to our goals, and our first goal is attendance because they certainly can't learn if they're not at school. And this is attendance is a difficult goal because we teach elementary age students who they get sick a lot, they haven't had time to develop their immune system. And you can see in 2018 and 2019, our attendance wasn't too bad, but then COVID hit. and our percentages tanked. So we've been working really hard to get those percentages back up. And in 22 and 2023, we've been able to increase them, but we're still falling short of the 97%. So we have several strategies that we try to get the kids to want to come to school. We have probably 4 or 5 teachers or staff members in the morning welcome the students as they get off the bus or get out of the cars. We'll play fun music. We also have seasonal decorations. Right now we have a big turkey outside that they really like. The PK students think it's a chicken. So the pre-K teachers have been talking to them about turkeys. There's an example of our brag tags as well. They can get a brag tag for perfect attendance, which is difficult to do because we're talking they didn't miss school, nor were they tardy. But we also understand that that's going to be difficult for some because you've got doctor's appointment, you have sickness, or maybe there was a death in the family. So we also give an excellent attendance award, and that's for students who achieve a 97% for the 9 weeks. We continue to do our Attend and Engage program, which is ran by my school social worker. And so if she sees a pattern of absences, like maybe they're absent every Friday or on Mondays, she'll reach out to the families to see if she can help increase their attendance, or maybe their attendance is starting to get a little out of hand and they've missed several days, and she'll work with them and come up with a plan to try to increase their attendance. Our second goal is ELA, and I've asked my science reading teacher, Amanda Loffer, to come and speak about that.
Good evening. And yes, Kathy owes us lots of chocolate tomorrow. Yes, she does. So the state of Indiana, along with the literacy cadre, set a goal for our state that 95% of the students in 3rd grade would pass the iRead by the year 2027. So last year, Kathy and I sat down with my TSS from the state, and we aligned our goals, so aligned our arrows with the state's goals in order for us to reach that same goal in 2027. As you can see, Kathy had already put up there some of our scores from previous years, and these are our grade 3 and 4 iLearn passing percentages. And if you notice, the past couple of years, they were lower than they were in 2024. I like to think that our teachers collaborating with our coaches, not only me, but with the STEM coach as well, has created the rise in that percentage, because teachers working together in the classroom, reflecting upon the student data, I think really makes a difference. Some of the strategies to achieve this goal are listed up here. With the science of reading and the coaching, not only with the science of reading coach, but with the STEM coach as well. When we meet for coaching cycles, we actually sit down together with the classroom teachers and we look at the student data, and then we plan our lesson. And throughout our time together in those cycles, we reflect on the students' progress, and we monitor that progress throughout our lessons together. And at the very end, we reflect upon what went well, what didn't go well. Did the students hit their goal? If they didn't, what interventions need to be presented and applied? And if they did hit their goal, how can we enhance or enrich that learning that's taking place? This is going to lead nicely into our PLC time. So thank you very much for giving us that PLC time this school year in order for our teachers to have that collaborative time together, because during that PLC time, they're also going to be asking one another in their groups, you know, what do we want our students to know? How are we going to know that they know it? And then what do we do if they don't know it? And what do we do to accelerate that learning? So I think our coaching model has set us up really nicely for those PLCs. This slide is just an example of some of the data that we have collected from some of our coaching cycles together. The top are the pre-assessment data, and the bottom are the post-assessment data. So if you see the first one there is on the goal was students will ask and answer questions about what they're learning and reading. And at the post-assessment, you see that there is absolutely no red. The yellow has really shrunk, and there's more blue and green, which is what we want to see in our student learning. It really jumped up, and we were super excited. And then the next goal was students will find author's point and the facts that support the author's point. And again, the whole part of the pre-assessment was yellow, and then by the end of it, we had really gotten in some blue, so they went and excelled really nicely in those goals. So,
Camille Krim, my first and second grade ELA teacher, is going to come and talk about our interventions and then some of our reading programs.
Thank you for having me tonight. Thank you. A bit taller. So first of all, we have interventions, which I was a teacher at Deputy and then became an interventionist for a little bit and then kind of got to move into a teaching position again. And I love the changes we've made to interventions this year. I think pushing our teachers into our classrooms has really taken away the wasted time going up and down the hallway with our students, and they're getting a lot of focused, intentional time with teachers in small groups. And they're showing a lot of growth. We're starting to see that in our data, and it's really exciting. They're hearing more than my voice, which to some is a blessing, I think, and that when we're all using the same language and teaching the same things. So again, I think that that's part of our success, but the interventions have come a long way. You can see 2 awards students can earn. One is honor roll, and that's in the regular ed room, but the improvement award really allows those to be recognized that maybe they're not exceeding or meeting at everything, but they're working really hard in interventions and they're still showing the growth that we want to see. So they're still able to earn a brag tag even if we aren't meeting it on honor roll. The next slide is about AR, and at Deputy, we love AR because our kids love AR. And we have brag tags for that. We set a reading goal with each student, and it's really fun because they're getting excited about learning. They're finding vocabulary words and showing us things that they've seen in their books that we've talked about in class. And Mrs. Stoner gets them really excited on Monday morning. She tells them how many books we've read as a school and how many words we've read. And they always are wowed by that huge number for the word count. So they get really excited. And then we also reward them in our classrooms when they pass a test or meet goals, and then we also reward them in front of the whole school in the gym. So we will put names in a bucket when they are reading every night, and she will draw names out of the bucket, and it's like Christmas morning because they get to come down, get a coin, and they run up to our book machine, and they put their coin in and pick their book, and they get to take it home. So the kids are loving it, we're loving it, and it's fun to see the excitement that they have as well. And one more thing, with our books and bubbles, Mrs. Stoner was able to get a bubble machine for her office, and you can see a picture of how cool it looks. Students can earn this reward through meeting AR goals and in their classroom, but they can also earn it through behavior. And when they get picked and they get to do the books and bubbles with Mrs. Stoner, I can't even make it to the classroom, and they're already planning, when can I go? How long can I stay? And it's always, man, I hate that we had to leave. So the students really love it, and it keeps them reading. So it's academic, and they don't even know it. They just think they're having fun. So we have that as well.
Carissa Wrighthouse, our PK4 teacher, is going to come and talk about our house system.
I am actually our PK3 teacher, but that's okay. And I am a house council sponsor along with Mrs. McVeigh. So our house system contains 3 houses. It's Amable, Sabio, and Valoroso. Go Valoroso. Our house system helps students build community and belonging foundations through positive interactions that they have. And those interactions may be collecting items for flood victims or angel tree or food drive that we're currently doing for families that may be in need during Thanksgiving time. And we also participate in a lot of different activities in all the spirit weeks that we get to do throughout the school year. So they get to interact and build those positive relationships through that. Our 3rd and 4th grade students are eligible to run for our house council. They have to give a speech in front of their student body, and then they also present posters that are hung throughout our school, and then they are voted on upon their house. So once they actually are in student council, then they get to make decisions for our student bodies, such as the rewards that they achieve for the attendance goals and our monthly house competitions, which they love doing. And that allows them, when they do the house competitions, it's a lot of competition, yes, but it's a lot of fun. And so they gain mentorship through that and leadership, and it's all the way from PK3 all the way to 4th grade. So it's a great way for them to build those skills and take them with them. So that is our house.
I wanted to talk a little bit about how Madison Consolidated Schools support our staff and allow them to grow professionally. It's something that I think we do a really good job with. When I started teaching about 35 years ago at a neighboring corporation, they walked me to my room and said, "There you go, start teaching." So let me tell you, it was a learning experience, and I'm glad that we've come a long way since then, and we give our teachers more support than that. I'm very proud of my staff. I have several staff members who have taken advantage of the opportunities that have been presented to them. My PK4 teacher that I was indicated a little bit ago, Katie, who is not here, she is in the Bloom Board Paraeducator program, where she is working on getting her elementary license. I also have a SPED ISP teacher, or ISP, who is working on the paraeducator program in that, where she has signed up for a 6-week course where she can learn how her role at our school can help our special education students. Our PLCs has also been an excellent way for our teachers to grow. We've been spending the last 13 weeks working together, learning what PLCs are, how they can be effective, what roles we'll play in the PLCs. And these are just some of the things that we've done in the last 13 weeks as the teachers and the staff members have been working towards implementing our PLCs when we come back from winter break. So they've been learning how their pacing guides and curriculum guides can be good resources during their PLC times. They've worked on the assessment calendar, how to set goals for their students. They've also learned how to work collaboratively and how to give feedback and to receive feedback from their colleagues. Here's an example of one of the activities that we've done during the PLC time. Just an example of how they're working together to solve a problem, giving each other feedback, seeing something that's not working, trying different ways. They were given spaghetti and marshmallows to build a tall tower. And if you know anything about my staff, they were very competitive and were wanting me to get out the yardstick to see who actually had the tallest tower. But during that time, they were building relationships. We've worked together for a long time at Deputy, and so our relationships are strong. But relationships have to be cultivated and they have to be supported. And so I enjoyed watching the teachers not only get into deep conversations, talking out problems, coming up with solutions, but I enjoyed watching them have fun and to laugh. And I could see that the relationships were growing even stronger, which is only going to help the foundation when we start our professional learning communities in the winter. I'm going to ask Jennifer to come up one more time to talk about our future plans, which involves STEM certification.
Back again. All right, so Deputy is making really great strides to integrate STEM learning for every student. We are on the path to seek STEM certification from the state. With our goal is for next year. I'll get to that in just a minute. I kind of skipped ahead. Sorry. So that is definitely something. When we created the club days, that was part of the reason why, is to give students more of those STEM exposure, STEM opportunities. So for this year, we have come up with some goals to help get us closer to that. We're working on creating a district level STEM advisory board, which will be made up of staff, administration, and community partners. We have been doing a lot of coaching cycles, the teachers and I, in order to integrate STEM meaningfully into each curricular subject, lots of science, lots of math, and some English too. So we've been working on lots of cycles there. One thing we are looking into is how to increase computer science opportunities for every student. we will continue improving our club day activities and offering those for students. And then we're also looking to increase some community partnerships through club days and some other activities as well, having some community members come and speak as guest speakers or help with some of our coaching cycles as well. We have started a STEM curriculum map, but we are definitely in early process of working on that. So all of these things, which seems like a lot, but we're going to work on for our goals this year in order to apply for STEM certification in the 25-26 school year.
All right. To conclude our presentation tonight, Dr. Brown wanted us to talk a little bit about our story, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to say about that this year, but I kept thinking about this picture we took of our whole school, and I thought, this is our story. Our students are our story. The experiences they have while they're at Deputy is part of our story. Their achievements they're going to earn while they're at Deputy is part of our story. And the growth that they're going to achieve is part of our story. Because after all, these students are why we do what we do and why we continue to strive upward and together. Thank you.
Ladies, on behalf of the board, we really appreciate you being here tonight. I think your passion and dedication came through very clear, and our students are very lucky, and the deputy community is very lucky to have you out there. The numbers don't lie. Your percentages are on the uptick in the top 40. That's all great news. So we appreciate you being here, but most of all, we appreciate what you're doing for our kids out of Deputy. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. 24-105, approval of the agenda of the November 13th, 2024 regular board meeting. 24-106 is approval of the minutes of the September 5th, 2024 school board meeting and work session of October 2nd, 2024 regular meeting and October 28th, 2024 ratification, public meeting, special board meeting, and executive session. 24-107, approval of claims. 24-108, approval of financial report. 24-109 is the approval of construction payment, which are as follows: Precision Construction and Contracting, LLC, pay app number 9 for the tennis courts, $58,583.71. 2 is the T-Con Corporation, pay app number 7 for Cub Industries, $215,988.32. And the third one is ETC Systems Incorporated, pay app number 5, Cub Industries, $1,425. 24-110 is the approval of the personnel agenda. 24-110.1, addenda of personnel report. 24-111 is the approval of the grants and donations, which are as follows: Madison Consolidated Schools. Liberty Christian Church donated $500 to assist with owed balances on meals. Deputy Elementary received $912 from the Lick Branch Baptist Church to be used to fund an all-school field trip to the Derby Dinner Playhouse. Mike Otto's LLC donated $200 to be used to support the archery team. The Hanover Flea Market donated $200 to be used to support the archery team. And Madison Family Dentistry donated $300 to be used to the archery support team, or archery team. Madison Junior High, El Nepal donated $100 to esports to the Madison Consolidated High School. JWS Corporation donated $1,000 to the swim team. Steinhardt Restoration LLC, Serpro donated $362 to the football team. The Schutte Family Fund donated $50,000 to the Growing Minds Farm Stop. Midwest Tube Mills LLC donated $10,000 to the boys basketball team. An anonymous donation of $865 to the athletics and $135 to the boys golf team. 24-112 is approval of field trips. We have a request from Jennifer Cornelius to take 12 high school Anchor Club, NHS, and student council students to participate in the Making Strides Walk in Louisville, Kentucky on October 20th, 2024. We have an overnight field trip request from Chris Sandlin, high school boys cross-country coach to take 11 cross-country team members to Shelbyville, Indiana, October 25th and 26th, 2024, to compete in the cross-country regionals. And thirdly, we have a request from the Shelby Eisen AG teacher to take 10 7th and 8th grade FAA students to the North American International Livestock Expo in Kentucky, in Louisville, Kentucky, on November 15th, 2024. Dr. Brown.
I recommend that the board approve with one motion and one vote the consent agenda items 24-105 through and including 24-112 as presented.
Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda 24-105 through 24-112.
Thank you, Mr. Story. And a second?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? See no discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Any public comments? Nope. Okay. Move on to the action agenda. 24-113, school board election of officers for the remainder of the 2024 calendar year. Due to Mr. Scott resigning as vice president of the board, we must elect a new vice president to finish out this year. I would nominate David Story to fill the vice president role, which will be vacated your secretary role, right? Okay.
Do you want a
Just
second?
second.
Yes, please.
I will second. Just checking. You usually ask, so.
Okay, we do have a motion to second. Is there any other nominations? Seeing none, all in favor of David Story assuming the vice president role for the remainder of this year, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, David. Vacating the secretary position, we'll entertain a motion to fill the secretary position for the remainder of this year. Entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion for Secretary Dustin Benz.
Okay, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second. Is there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, we'll close. All in favor of Dustin Benz assuming the role of secretary, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Benz?
You've
1
never-
month, and you're
you've
looking
never
at
seen
you.
me take notes. So.
You're already moving right up the ladder here toward the, toward the head of the table. Congratulations, thank you. 24-114, approval of the supplemental pay resolution for teacher's contract. Dr. Brown.
We are seeking approval of the supplemental pay resolution for the teacher contract. The resolution is authorizing MCS to pay the supplemental base payments to the teachers as presented.
Entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion, we approve item 24-114.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor of approval of 24-114, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 24-115, approval of pay increase and stipend for classified hourly, classified salaried administrators, certified salaried employees, and substitutes who meet the incentive criteria. Dr. Brown.
Yeah, we are requesting that the board approve an average increase of 3% to the classified hourly, classified salaried administrators, and certified salaried employees. We were also requesting that some salary adjustments to some individuals and new adjusted pay scales due to quality or market adjustments and the Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, as presented in your packets. We're also seeking approval to give classified hourly, classified salaried administrators, and certified salaried employees a one-time stipend of $1,500. This stipend will be paid as a separate pay on December 12th, 2024. Substitutes will receive a stipend amount based on the number of days they have subbed as of October 31, 2024. The stipend will vary depending on the number of days that they have subbed for us. So we want to reward their longevity and work with us. So asking for those items to be approved.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Entertain a motion to approve 24-115.
I make a motion to approve 24-115.
Thank you, Ms. Yancey. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? See no discussion. All in favor of approval of 24-115 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 24-115 passes. Yes, thank you. 24-116, second reading and approval of the following revised MCS policies. Dr. Brown.
Yeah, I'm seeking approval of the following revised MCS policies. MCS Policy 1520-08, Employment of Personnel for Extracurricular Activities. MCS Policy 3120-08, Employment of Personnel for Extracurricular Activities. MCS Policy 4120.08, Employment of Personnel for Extracurricular Activities. MCS Policy 5200, Attendance. MCS Policy 5340.01, Student Concussions and Sudden Cardiac Arrest. MCS Policy 5350, Student Suicide Awareness and Prevention. MCS Policy 6320, Purchasing. MCS Policy 7540.02, Web Content, Apps and Services. MCS Policy 8210, School Calendar. MCS Policy 8452, Automated External Defibrillators, AEDs. MCS Policy 8455, Coach Training, References, and IHSAA Reporting. MCS Policy 9130, Public Complaints and Concerns.
Board will entertain a motion to approve 24-116.
I'll motion to approve 24-116.
Thank you, Mr. Benz. And a second?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? See no discussion. All in favor of 24-116 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 24-116 is approved. Twenty-four 117, the second reading and approval to rescind MCS Policy 6320.01, purchasing using online reverse auctions. Dr. Brown.
Yeah, I'm seeking approval to rescind MCS Policy 6320.01, Purchasing using online reverse auctions as presented.
Entertain a motion to approve 24-117.
I'll make a motion to approve 24-117.
Thank you, Mr. Story. And a second, please.
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? See no discussion. All in favor of approval of 24-117 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 24-117 is approved. 24-118, the first reading of replacement of MCS Policy 5136. That's okay.
I'm seeking approval of the replacement of Policy 5136, Personal Communication Devices, as presented. It is a second reading.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve 24-118.
Make a motion, we approve 24-118.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? See no discussion. All in favor of approval of 24-118 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 24-118 is approved. 24-119, approval of course curriculum guide edition for Madison Junior High School. Dr. Brown.
Yeah, I'm seeking approval to add Engineering Essentials, Grade 8, for a high school credit, $71.99 to the Junior High Curriculum Guide for 24-25. This course will be available to 8th grade students for the second semester, and at this time, only one class period will be offered with a maximum of 25 students. Students will travel to Mr. Neal's classroom at the high school to attend this course, and it will be available both semesters for 25-26. So asking for approval of that course.
Very good. Entertain a motion to approve 24-119.
I'll make a motion to approve 24-119.
Thank you, Mr. Story. In a second?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor of approving 24-119 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 24-119 is approved. 24-120, approval of partnership commitment between MCS and Southeast Indiana Workforce Investment Board. Dr. Brown.
Yeah, I'm seeking approval of the partnership commitment between MCS and Southeast Indiana Workforce Investment Board. The purpose of this agreement is to create a partnership to successfully implement and sustain a comprehensive career coaching and navigation framework. The comprehensive career coaching program is financed using a grant from the Indiana Commission of Higher Education. The career coaching program creates business, industry, and education partnerships committed to achieve the mission of the Indiana Commission for Higher Education to ensure that students pre-K through 12th grade explore, engage, and experience activities focused on employability skills through classroom activities. So asking for approval of that work.
Very good. Entertain a motion to approve 24-120.
I'll make a motion to approve 24-120.
Thank you, Mr. Benz. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? See no discussion. All in favor of 24-120 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 24-120 passes. 24-121, approval of the memorandum of understanding between Madison Consolidated High School, Madison Junior High School, and Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southeast Indiana. Dr. Brown.
Yeah, I'm seeking approval of a memorandum of understanding between Madison Consolidated High School, Madison Junior High School, and Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Southeast Indiana. The purpose of this agreement is to create and confirm an effective working relationship between Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Southeast Indiana, our high school, and our junior high. The Big Brothers Big Sisters program will provide a professional program manager to implement their evidence-based, site-based mentoring program, which has been shown to affect positive changes in school attendance, attitude, self-confidence, and avoidance of risky behaviors. So asking for approval of that MOU.
Entertain a motion to approve 24-121.
I'll make a motion to approve 24-121.
Thank you, Mr. Story. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? All in favor of 24-121 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 24-121 is approved. 24-122, approval of memorandum of understanding between MCS and Safe Passages. Dr. Brown.
I'm seeking approval of the MOU between MCS and Safe Passage. The purpose of this MOU is to outline the collaboration between Safe Passage, Inc. and MCS to provide healthy relationship programming to students at the junior high and high schools. The programming aims to educate and empower students with the knowledge and skills necessary to develop and maintain healthy relationships. Asking for approval.
Entertain a motion to approve 24-122.
I make a motion to approve 24-122.
Thank you, Ms. Yancey. Second?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor of 24-122 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? 24-122 is approved. 24-123, approval of Indiana Institute on Disability and Community Indiana Resource Center for Autism Memorandum of Understanding. Dr. Brown.
I am seeking approval of the Indiana Institute on Disability and Community Indiana Resource Center for Autism Memorandum of Understanding. We're seeking approval to enter into an agreement with the Indiana Institute on Disability and Community through the Indiana Resource Center for Autism for when an individual with autism spectrum disorder presents challenging behaviors that are impeding their learning in the educational setting. The Indiana Resource Center for Autism staff are available to provide on-site consultations on behalf of specific individuals of all ages with autism spectrum disorders in a variety of settings, including early intervention, schools, homes, and adult settings. The consultants from the Indiana Resource Center for Autism from Bloomington, Indiana, provide in-person observations, staffing to share ideas for evidence-based practices to implement for a student with autism, time for phone calls for staff and family members, review of records, and preparation of a report to summarize their observations and proposed strategies to assist us with support. So asking for approval of that MOU.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve 24-123.
I'll make a motion to approve 24-123.
Thank you, Mr. Story. Is there a second?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion? See no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? 24-123 is approved. 24-124, approval of letter of agreement between MCS and Schmidt Associates. Dr. Brown.
Yeah, I'm seeking approval of the letter of agreement between MCS and Schmidt Associates in the amount of $63,000, which would be paid for with the grant that we received for the Early Childhood Center preliminary work. It's for the design and cost estimates for the new Early Childhood Center. Asking for approval of that letter of agreement.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve 24-124.
I make a motion we approve 24-124.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Is there a second?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, is there any discussion?
I just wanted to clarify or confirm. So we are just doing for the design work. I didn't get to I looked at it a little bit this afternoon, since we just got it today, and I guess with the phases listed in here, we're not approving these.
No, it's just the work to
Do the
give us to
design.
inform our decision-making on a next step, basically. So it's preliminary design.
Will we get, are we gonna get like, blueprints and stuff like that, like an actual design?
It'll be big picture. So once,
Detailed.
not terribly detailed. It'll be
Okay.
big picture, cost estimates, preliminary design work. And then the board will make a decision at that point. Do we want to invest more to get?
So will there be another vote or? Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. That's
To move
so-
forward.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that we're just voting on this part.
Mm-hmm.
And we still don't know what because you said Jason might come and talk to us again at exactly what our capacity
Correct.
is. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And the preliminary design work takes into consideration or a recommendation from Schmidt and Associates, what can and can't be utilized that's existing at EO Muncie today.
Correct. They will evaluate the current site.
And so like if there's like, once we get that and if there's any changes, that could still be like, we want to add this or we can still do that after they bring those to us.
Yep, as long as it fits within the scope of our financial
Correct.
ability.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's just fair to say this is just a starting point.
Yep.
And,
Just the next step.
and again, just to reiterate, it is funded through our grant.
Mm-hmm.
So it's at no cost to the taxpayers at this point. Okay, we entertain a motion to approve 24-124.
We've already got a,
I'm sorry,
Motion and a
I
second.
apologize. I
All we need is
apologize.
a vote.
All we need is a vote.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 24-124 is approved. 24-125, approval of memorandum of understanding between MCS and New Albany Floyd County Consolidated School Corporation. Dr. Brown.
Yeah, I'm seeking approval of the MOU between MCS and New Albany Floyd County Consolidated School Corporation to provide services for new drivers in order for them to obtain their necessary licensure. The cost of the training is $2,500. We're asking for approval so that we can get our bus drivers trained.
Very good. Entertain a motion to approve 24-125.
I'll make a motion to approve 24-125.
Thank you, Mr. Story. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
With the motion and second, is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? 24-125 is approved. Move on to reports, and we'll turn it over to our student representative, Miss Emma Nguyen.
Good evening. I just have a few announcements to share with you all this evening. First, I want to congratulate all of our fall athletes on their great seasons. Boys and girls cross country advanced to regionals, and boys tennis had a great season. Boys soccer, girls volleyball, and football all made it to the sectional championship game, and I want to extend a special congratulations to our boys football team on their record-breaking great season. And congratulations to girls soccer, boys cross country, and girls golf for their sectional championship wins. Winter sports have also started, so be sure to check our athletic schedule for swim meets and wrestling meets, and boys and girls basketball games in the upcoming weeks. Congratulations to the cast and crew of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on their performances. And the junior high is putting on their production of Alice in Wonderland, 7 o'clock tomorrow night and Friday night, and 2:30 on Saturday. It's at the high school auditorium, and be sure to check that out. They always do such a good job, and Mrs. Bullock does such a great job leading that as well. I also want to give a huge shout out to our AP US History students, the MCHS choir and band, and Mr. Whitaker, and all of the other people who helped with our Veterans Day program on Monday. It was really, really wonderful, and I've heard a lot of good things, good comments about that. And also a huge thank you to all of our veterans. Turkey Shootout is also coming up at the end of this month, so JV games are on Monday, November 25th, and the girls and boys varsity play on Wednesday, November 27th. And it's hosted in Madison this year, so be sure to be there and cheer on our girls and boys basketball teams as they take on Southwestern. I also really want to remind our students to activate and check their Student Square accounts, and be sure that you're checking your email. There's a lot of information coming through that, so we want to make sure that everyone is up to date. And the dailies, the little announcements that are also posted, we want to make sure you're checking those as well, and those should be going to your emails. Thanksgiving break is from November 25th through the 29th for all Madison students this year, and I hope you all have a fantastic month and fantastic Thanksgiving break.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to, yes, the public comments, and we'll ask Ms. Sharon Gray to step to the podium, please.
Again, I'm here standing to represent the Word of God to be placed in our school systems, for the children to be able to express, those that are in faith in Christ Jesus, not to be ashamed, to be able to express that in our schools. I'll be leaving the Madison area. We'll be moving away, but I do pray for this school system and all the school systems in the world. God has given us another chance with the current administration coming into the White House to acknowledge God, not to be ashamed of Him, to stand up, to speak His word, to love Him with all our hearts. I love the systems that you're doing, but if we honor God first, you have no idea what a light and what a beam you would be in the community. And so with that said, I just want to share a couple of verses from Psalm 85. Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Yea, the Lord shall give that which is good, and our land shall increase. Righteousness shall go before him, and shall set us in the way of his steps. And I pray this for all of our children, the generations coming up, the ones that aren't even here yet, so that the generations that are here can be a light to them, because we are his light. I just encourage everyone that is in faith in Christ to just stand. Just stand and speak his word and be an encouragement to one another. Thank you for all your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gray. Okay, we'll open it up to board member comments, and we'll start off with Dustin.
I just, with Thanksgiving around the corner and things we heard tonight, just some things I'm thankful for being a board member and in this community. I wish Officer Conover was still here. I was there that day. I was on the scene when Officer Conover showed up, and I don't think it can be understated or overstated or whatever the words I'm looking for, but he saved that man's life. Like, I called O'Mara the next day. I know some of the people at O'Mara. With respect to the family, kind of what Officer McVeigh said, I won't go into detail, but that AED and that and O'Mara's safety response, if not for them, that gentleman would not be here today. So huge what Travis did that day, and thankful, super thankful for Travis and everybody, the SROs and everybody. So please relay that to Travis for me, Officer McVeigh, for sure. And then deputies' presentation, just the things you guys are doing that kind of didn't, what you're doing with those students in terms of, I just took some notes here, you're building a sense of community in them. That's huge. Socio-emotional skills, the things they're learning by doing the hands-on, the pride they're building, the life skills, those are all just so dramatic and so big. So thank you, Deputy, for what you're doing with those students on a daily basis. It's just a small part of what Madison schools provide in our community to everybody. So thank you, Officer Conover. Thank you, Deputy Schools. We really appreciate all of you.
Ms. Jody.
I also want to thank you guys. It's one of my favorite things when the schools start coming in and talking about what they're doing and things going on. And it's every time, I think, I don't know, 2 or 3 times that you guys have come, it's just so inspirational what you do, and the family feeling that you promote and exude. It's just awesome. And so I thank you for not only being here and letting us, just a small piece of what you guys do, but just thank you for doing that for the kiddos, because, it means a lot to those kids. So thank you. The other thing I wanted just to, we get donations all the time, and a lot of donations to Deputy, which is, again, just the community that's supporting you guys. But we, every month we get tons of donations, but some ones that weren't on here that came out this week. Well, one of them came out this week and one earlier. Jason Schaefer and David Couch paying for our high school kids to be able to come to the girls and boys basketball games free of charge. And then I think today or yesterday, Industrial Supply Company of Madison stepping up and also going to pay for our elementary and our junior high kids to be able to come to those same games. So, just supporting not just our athletes, but, the band, the theater production. Harry Potter was amazing. And so, just giving all that support to those kids, I want to thank the community for, stepping up and doing that, because it does really mean a lot for everybody.
Good, thank you. David?
Run out of stuff and going back. Congratulations to Josh and Travis. Do want to speak a little bit about deputy. You know, we always talk about community pulling together, but I like to see those country communities, you know, going together. That many parents involved with those organizations, you know, keeping the sports going. That's amazing.
Yep.
And we're talking a small community inside a bigger community. So what those kids are going to get out of that is great. I have to admit, I'm a little jealous when I see pictures of cucumbers in August coming out of your all's gardens and stuff. But, you know, next spring, if you guys need any, I always have extra seed. Please reach out because I will help any way that I can with that because I love the gardening program. I love the club days, the cooking. That is all the basic stuffs, and they're grabbing onto that. So what's that going to do to them when they get to junior high? What's that going to do to them when they get to the high school? So keep up the good work. I'm just like Jody. I love it when the schools come here and speak. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you, David. Michael.
Yes, Deputy, the team, thank you for coming tonight. I will say, thanks to Facebook, I'm able to kind of keep in touch with what's going on. I was very much in tune with how the garden was going this summer based on Facebook posts. So a significant amount of time and energy has been spent by the MCS leadership and this school board evaluating the need for an early learning center. Earlier this evening, we voted to spend some of our grant money to secure early design concepts and cost estimates. This data is critical in determining the future of this project. After sharing some information at the last board meeting about the Early Learning Center, I have heard or read a few concerns from local residents about not wanting taxes to increase. Just to be clear, this project would not tax or increase our tax rate due to our ability to successfully pay off previous and existing debt. In essence, we're going to be funding this on our own. No increase in taxes. The current proposal for the new Early Learning Center is to provide space for 300 children ranging from basically birth to 4 years old. We have an opportunity to build something really special for this community to support the hardworking families while providing early education opportunities for their most precious commodity. This seems like a logical and practical solution. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, I feel like Dustin looked at my notes down here before he said what he was going to say in his public comments, but I'll just echo what he said because he did say it very well. In the month of being thankful for what we have, and we are very fortunate to live in the community in which we do, and being a part of this board of this school corporation is truly an honor. But I think it just shows here tonight with our folks from Deputy about what all of our schools are all about. Again, the dedication and passion and love that you guys have for our kids is crucial for the success of them, but also for the success of our entire community. So we can't thank you enough for all you do and for our entire staff. Tonight we awarded Josh and Travis, recognize them for doing outstanding work, and we're very proud of them. But that could be any and all of our employees at our school corporation, because we know each day you give it your all to our kids, and again, it's very much appreciated, and that's certainly what I'm thankful for. So having said that, I will remind everybody that there will be a work session on Thursday, December 5th, 2024 at 4:30 p.m. And the next regular board meeting will be December 11th, 2024 at 6 p.m. and we'll conclude by our superintendent's report.
Okay, I have quite a few things, so hang in there. When I discussed this with Pamela Smith, she said that was okay because this was all stuff that needed to be said. So first of all, Harry Potter, first of all, I'm just really proud of the work that our kids did. The students, the stage crew, just the amount of work, and certainly Mr. Kelsey, the parent volunteers, just an incredibly well done performance. And I was just really proud of all the work that you all did. Best high school performance I've ever seen in my life. Veterans Day programs all around the district. Some were even just yesterday, but certainly the high school had a great program. The junior high and high school students were just completely respectful, so well behaved, engaged, and certainly our veterans that came. It's just a very proud day. Our fall athletics, as you all know, I'm a little bit competitive, and 3 championships and 2 championship matches that were we were on the edge of winning both of them as well. So to think about our fall sports having nearly 5 championship teams is absolutely incredible. And I certainly want to thank those student athletes, our coaches, and of course our athletic director. They've worked really hard to do that. Winter sports seasons are beginning, so looking forward to that. And of course, the turkey shootout. Go Cubs. Rikers Ridge is having a fair on Friday. We'll invite you to that. Kathy Stoner and the deputy team. I am so proud of you. Not just today, but every day, what you do for our kids and for each other, right? It's just a very special place to be. And you even brought the Teacher of the Year with you.
There you go.
I couldn't. Also, congratulations to Katie Dryden in our central office. She's an HR specialist. She completed certification with IASBO many, many hours and was recognized by them with a letter as a human resources specialist certification. So congratulations to Katie. Also, of course, congratulations to our fabulous IT director, Josh Taylor. Appreciate everything he does every day, and he keeps me out of trouble when I make those phone calls and say, now what do I do? Also, Travis Conover, how special and incredible to save a person's life, and he literally did that. Also, congratulations to our new and old board members, Dustin Bentz and David Story. Appreciate you both.
Who's the new and who's the old?
I'm not going there.
Let me say.
Also, want to remind our employees, we have a district-wide trivia night for employees next Friday, 11/22, 7 p.m. at the junior high, and come prepared to get second place. Thank you to Judy Brooks and the cafeteria staff for the Thanksgiving meal that they're preparing tomorrow at the high school. Also, a big thank you, and let's sincerely mean this, to our board for the raises and stipends that you just approved for our staff tonight. We're talking $1.9 million. So appreciate the fact that you committed that and those resources to our staff. Also, want to thank Mrs. Brim's students in the Ed Pro class for coming tonight. And for those watching online, you had to wait all the way to this moment. Your code word is lawn mower. Again, lawnmower is your code word for class. Happy Thanksgiving to all. I certainly am very grateful for our students and our staff in our community. It is a great place to live and work and be, and we have much to be grateful for. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
With the motion, is there a second?
Second.
With a motion and a second, all in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Gavel has been struck.